Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on the Success Insight podcast. Andrée is our leadership mindset and golf performance coach. She's an LPGA Class A Life member, a nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame, recognizing golf's value as a business tool in today's competitive marketplace. Andrée works with individuals, groups, corporate, or organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. Andrée, welcome back to another episode of Mindset Monday on the Success Insight podcast.
Good to be back with you, Howard. As always, it's always fun to come up with something new to help everybody with their mindset. Mondays.
And hard to believe it's already November.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know about you, but out here, even in Vegas, the wool sweater's out, my wool sweater. How about you?
It's my first day of wool sweaters. Actually, I can't say that. I pulled them out in October.
Fantastic.
Quite nippy already, but the leaves have fallen and it is time to shift into another season and prepare for what's forward in the new year.
You got it. So what's in store for us today?
Well, today's topic is a really fun topic for me. I remember working with Dan Millman years ago and with the Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and I did his Peaceful Warrior training. And I've always had an affinity for what that means. Today's topic is the mindset and artful leadership of a warrior.
Interesting.
So if we're going to go for the gold and not settle for silver, as always, why a warrior? Well, what are the characteristics of a warrior? Well, I'm going to share what comes to mind for me, and maybe, Howard, you have a couple others that pop in as I'm mentioning it.
Sure.
But the big ones that come forward for me are strength. They're full of purpose. They're driven, goal-oriented, dynamic, committed, very results-oriented. You've got to be adaptable while proving yourself, but there's a lot of worth in there. And their steadfastness commands respect, and they're leaders in their own right. And a warrior is all of those from the inside and out. Both are needed.
I like those. I mean, the warrior, definitely the characteristics of somebody who would be looked upon as being a leader as well. I think of just the grit is they just have that determination that, it is not going to be diminished, no matter if it's a minor setback, huge setback there. And I love that driven and with purpose.
Yes. And then when I started writing these down and pulling forward those adjectives and verbs that describe all this, I was thinking, who's our audience? It's all about the warrior at work, at home, and at play. It could be the executive. It could be your manager. It could be a team leader, a CEO, a business leader, an employee who also happens to be a parent, a spouse. Even athletes are warriors. All athletes are warriors.
Sure.
And so what does that have to do with the mindset and creating artful leadership? Well, I think a lot of people look at a warrior as more of what the outer warrior is all about. And how this ties back into business and sport will, as we go through these descriptives, I'd love to just pull out possible stories around it. But the outer warrior is all about leadership and moving forward. They have a very strong front. Yes, they have a tough shell and armor, that says, don't mess with me.
Sure.
Right. But they can be overpowering. However, they're also physically fit. They have a zest for life. And they command their presence. And they're all consuming. They're ready for action. And even if there's a roadblock, they don't look at it as a roadblock. They're evolutionary in their in looking at opportunities that lie before them. And again, that's all about business and sport, isn't it?
Yeah, and I like that. But something else that comes to mind is, the word warrior. I mean, the connotation of it is going into battle.
Right.
Okay. And even though we're not specifically talking about battle where there's ultimate winners, losers, one thing also comes to mind is the aspect of emotional intelligence, where even when I am projecting this outer projection of being this warrior, I am a leader, that individual knows when he or she has to be perhaps a little compassionate, show some humility, and being able to read his or her audience in the moment of when he perhaps or she perhaps needs to perhaps draw back just a little bit from that battle that's ahead, that challenge that's ahead.
You're spot on, because what I'm going to flip over back to in a moment is the inner warrior, and how there's a nice dance between the outer and the inner warrior, and how important that is for performance, for staying strong, and really moving through that action or that battle, or however you want to look at it. And if you look at a business team, whether you're the owner of the business or one of those team leaders, those are all requirements. Those are all part of what you have to do. Just as an athlete has to command the field. I know it's still in the midst of football season. What is the quarterback doing? But everybody on that team is a big warrior, because they are guarding the quarterback. They are, whether they're offensive or defensive, they're moving down the field, strengthened and steadfast. And so the other pieces of the outer warrior that I think are really important is there's a constant pursuit to purpose with a full strategy of the action and goal plan to be carried through. And yet they're unflappable. They truly stand up for what they're about to embark upon, or what they are in the middle of embarking. And there's a lot of foresight into the future. There is, and is it for show, or is it to impress? Maybe, or maybe it's just to keep under the radar and keep moving forward and catch the other team by surprise. So there's all these different elements that all come into play for success.
Using the football as the analogy, every position, as you had just stated, that individual is themselves a warrior, and that warrior knows his or her role that they're playing. What the ultimate goal is, perhaps for the entire duration of the game, if where they're at on the field, what down it is, how many yards. And so at any given point in time, they know what they're responsible for, what their teammates are responsible for. So everybody has a sense of, here's where I am in the minute picture, the detail, but also in the bigger picture as it evolves and as the ball is going down the field.
And not only that, it's about being ever ready to adjust as you're competing to perform and win. And that really ties into the strategy of whether it is war, battle, team, success, and all about the win.
Sure.
And then obviously I'm a golf professional at heart, and even in an individual, we just had a couple months ago, we had the Ryder Cup. So that was very team oriented. It was really neat to see the USA team truly come together as a team, and together they strengthened themselves better than ever. But golf is an individual game. So how do you do this? Well, every one of these descriptives ties into the individual. And so the mindset and artful leadership is, how are you going to lead yourself so that you are then leading the team? But then how are you inspiring the team to do the same?
Are you familiar with this tool, the Wheel of Life?
Yes.
You know what dawns on me, and I was starting to think about it as you were sharing the characteristics of the warrior, is in a coaching session or with the client that you're working with, you can almost craft for them, wherever they're at in their life, the challenges they're facing. How are you demonstrating your strength, your purpose, your drive, the commitment, the adaptability? And where are your challenges, and which one of these characteristics is crucial for you to work on?
And I actually have that formatted in as we turn into the inner warrior. You do look within.
Okay.
And then that inner warrior supports the outer warrior's performance, right? And so you're spot on with that on the wheel of pulling all those things together. But I want the audience that's listening to think of themselves as themselves, but also as the leadership role that they have in business and with their families, right? Even if it's a family, even if you happen to be single and you're a family of one, you still have to come from within and have that inner strength. So there has to be a peaceful coexistence in business or in life. There is balance. And how do you create that balance? You've got to really be strong and come from a source of strength. And that source of strength creates the clarity, the focus, the determination, the courage, the consistency, and how you prepare and navigate to handle all of that then gets you into a position to be ready to react in balance versus chaotically all over the place. So you're ready to react in conflict, in chaos, in confusion, facing the challenges both from inside and out. And to do that, whether you are looking at the warrior within or the outer warrior, it takes commitment, resilience, and being persistent in all cases to go for the gold and not settle for silver.
Very good. Very good. Very philosophical discussion today. I mean, it's not
Indeed.
our typical 6 steps for this, 6 steps for that, 5 steps, whatever. But, you know, the whole inner warrior, outer warrior, we have to understand where we're at, and to be successful, as you just said, to go for the goal, we have to learn to keep those 2 aspects of our lives in balance, because that's what momentum is going to bring us forward.
Absolutely. And with those pieces of commitment and being resilient and persistent, all of those take a lot of courage, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that, and holding that inner strength, sky's the limit, folks.
Yeah. And that's why we have coaches, whether it's coaching for individuals for business, or we're coaching individuals for sport and recreation, like you're doing as a golf professional.
And strengthening the ability to sustain that mindset over more time, over and over and over.
Very
Absolutely.
much. Very much.
That's why we love what we do, Howard.
You got it. Andrée, another great episode. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So before we head out, once again, for our listeners, if they would like to learn more about you and your work, where are the best places for them to go?
Sure. You could go to andregolf.com. my website. That's Andrée with 2 E's. You can also go to my LinkedIn site, YouTube, Facebook, and
Starts with an I.
Instagram, of course,
Of
where I
course.
love to post videos and resources. That's always fun.
You got it.
And then Spotify has our full list of episodes, and I'm looking forward to continuing that forward.
Fantastic. Well, you got it. Once again, Andrée, thank you for taking time out of your day out on the East Coast, getting ready for Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday.
It's coming up.
I think, we'll have this episode the third week. So, this will be this episode is the first Monday in November, and then we've got one more episode in November. Then we're on to the holidays: Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, etc., Kwanzaa, etc. Hard to believe this year has just flown right by.
It has absolutely flown.
Well, thank you again, and we'll see you for another episode of Mindset Monday on the Success Insight podcast.
Thank you, Howard.
All right. Okay, folks, there you have it. We've just been chatting with Andrée Martin. She is our leadership, mindset, and golf performance coach. This has been Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on the Success Insight podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, let us know. You can find us on successinsightpodcast.com. We are on LinkedIn and Facebook on Success Insight Podcast pages. You can also find us on almost all of the major podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible. And as Andrée just alluded to a minute ago, we are on Spotify, where you can find the Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin playlist. So we're up to 45, 50, all close to 50 episodes of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin. So you could almost drive clear across country with Andrée if you wanted to. How about that? So folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, take care of yourselves, take care of your family in this holiday season. Again, let us know how you felt about today's episode or any other episode. But above all, we want to have you join us for all of our future episodes with Andrée. Okay, folks, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on the Success Insight podcast.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.